All right guys, welcome back to the Wrenched Out Garage. So today we're doing another install video for the Camaro SS. And today we've got something that's gonna help it breathe a little bit better. So stay tuned. All right guys, so what I was saying earlier was we're gonna make the Camaro breathe quite a bit better. So what we have is the K&N Blackhawk Edition intake, and what this is K&N's top of the line performance intake. So it's got the aluminum piping, it's powder coated, it's all welded, it has this cool emblem right here welded on. I did throw some of these parts together as it's pretty simple stuff, so I didn't want to kind of hold up the install video on me putting parts in. I did get this on Amazon for a smoking price. I'll put the links below. So here's the tube. I already have the PCV connector installed. And then what the Blackhawk Edition from K&N is, and I'm a huge K&N fan. I've had the 63 series on just about every vehicle I've ever owned. What this is, the Blackhawk Edition, is obviously the black aluminum pipe. It has the black dry filter, unlike their normal filters where they're wet. Then you have to oil them and clean them. This is a dry filter. It has all black hose clamps. So it's really a cool setup, and I think it's gonna complement the Camaro. In addition to that, K&N claims on a 2016, this is a 2017, that you'll get a little over 20 horsepower gain and about 28 pounds of torque. Obviously, I don't know how much GM changed up the motor or if at all, but so that's what we're looking at as far as performance gains from this product. I know that there's a lot of products on the market. I'm a huge fan, like I said earlier, of K&N. So to me, it's go to what you love, go to what you know. So K&N's always been by my side, and I'll continue to support them because I think their products are fantastic. So let me go over a couple of the other parts. So we have the filter shield. And again, I did some of the work already just because I didn't want to hold up the video because this stuff's pretty simple. Here is the shield right here. So what this is where the filter is going to go through and the aluminum piping is going to connect here. You do have to cut this to fit the rubber grommet or rubber sealer on it. This is an open box system, so it actually closes down with the hood kind of sitting over it to keep it airtight or semi-airtight, however you want to categorize it. So ultimately you just cut it, wrap it around. I also did install these little connectors, and these are what's going to actually mount down into the fenders. And then of course this one as well, it's loose. I did that intentionally so I can get the fitment correct and then pop it in. So there's the shield. We talked about the clamps, and ultimately what's going to happen is this guy right here is going to go through, lock in, and then you bolt it in, and that's where your map sensor is going to go. So pretty simple. For the most part, I think this is going to be a pretty simple install. The one thing that you have to do, or you should do, at least per what's in the instructions, and I've seen on other ones, is disconnect the negative battery terminal. So as you see, we did that. Before I get started on this, let's do an OEM or stock Airbox sound test. So let's watch that real quick. Some of the tools you're going to need for this, you're going to need a couple of Torx or Allen bits. The instructions say a 20 mil, a T20 and a T50. I've got a T20 and a 1/4 inch. They do fit, I already tested them. So we've got those. You're gonna need some pliers. Some pliers. And then of course, you're gonna need a flathead screwdriver. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is disconnect this upper PC, or this right here is your sound hose. So we'll go ahead and disconnect that just to get it out of the way for now. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and start loosening up these hose clamps. So this project, I mean, if you've done an intake on just about any other car, there are a few exceptions to this, just because it does have the engine noise sound distributor. So we've got the hose clamps loose. Should be loose enough to pull the pipe off. And then what we're going to do is pull this guy off, which you should just use. Let's see if I can do this. You should just take a flathead here. It should just pop forward. Oops. And of course, that clamp just popped. And now I just popped the clamps on it, but ultimately this will pop right over the PCV connector. So you can go follow the instructions. I've done a lot of these, so I'm just going to get this hose out of the way, just so we can get kind of the meat and bones of the situation. So this is removed. So if you look at this, you can see the chambering on it. Let's kind of go inside of it. I know it's kind of difficult to see, but it's just a huge rubber connector. You've got the oversized PCVs and the sound piece. So let's take a look at what we're going to. So you've got essentially, you're going to a solid piece of aluminum versus this rubber semi-smooth interior. So that's what you're going from and to, and then obviously a new filter. So let's keep going here. So we'll put this to the side. And now what we're going to do is take out your sensor here. And obviously this kit comes with all the hardware that you need to reinstall everything. But I'm doing it this way because, to me, if I can get the room, because essentially this whole system down here is going to end up coming out. So the sensor's loose and ready to come out. And if you look at this, there's a hose that runs right here. All right, so if you're looking at this, what we're going to end up doing is taking out this sound hose, which actually feeds, if you look at it, all the way to the back. And if you look right here, we're actually going to pull this all up, and then a plug is going to go right on that guy right there. So let's go ahead and get this guy unhooked. And as you can see, everything just kind of pops out. There we go. So it's obviously fairly simple. I just popped it out, barely pulling on it. And this is when, switch over to your bigger Torx, and you're actually going to just unbolt this guy. All right, so as you can see, we removed the sound pipe right here, and this runs into your firewall, and again, you just pop it right out. It's just essentially like a vacuum hose with a rubber hose on the other end. It's got the 2 bolts that run right into the front of the motor, so we just removed it. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so what we're gonna put on the end of that pipe is this guy right here. So you see that, it's this piece of plastic, and then you have a rubber cap, and essentially you'll put the rubber cap over the end of it here, or try to. You may want to get a flathead. So you'll take that piece, and what you're actually doing is capping it so it'll look just like that. So I just put the rubber over the top, and then this is going to go where that hose hooked up right toward the firewall, and it'll just clip right over. Okay, so now that's completed. So now let's go back to the airbox right here. So we're gonna pop this guy out, which is pretty simple. Okay, so now here's the stock airbox right here. And so those parts that I pre-installed are actually gonna fit into the pre-existing holes. So let's go ahead and change the air boxes. So obviously we're going from that over to this guy. And so actually what we'll need to do is, if you see this, oops, there's your adapter where your mass airflow sensor goes. So you'll just pop it through, and then you'll rotate it, and it comes with the included hardware. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. And you'll match these up, and then you'll install this guy obviously before you put it in. And there it is. So now it's installed. Again, which one is it? This interior guy is loose, just so I can get it ready and push it in, and then we'll tighten it down. So, all right. One thing before actually, let's go ahead and get this guy installed. So as you can see, essentially fits, or should fit, is tighten it down. All right, so that's in there snug, but one of the things we're gonna do is go ahead and put these bolts back so we don't have an open surface here. And actually, I think K&N supplied, so you do have the option. K&N did supply some new bolts. I think the only difference is they've got a fresh coat of blue on there for you. So let's go ahead and tighten this down. All right, and there you have it. So obviously you've got this big area open and ready for install. So let's go ahead and put our sensor back in. Just slides right back into place. All right, so obviously we got these guys primed and ready, so I'm going to go ahead and start tightening just to get it a little snug so it doesn't move around the clamp here. Okay, so one of the things when we're snugging these down, I always try to get them as close and up as possible, make sure it's completely on it, but I also try to kind of snug back the adjustment screw so you don't have it sitting right up dead center. So, all right, let's go ahead and throw the pipe in. All right, so fitment looks good. All right, so right now we are clamping these guys down. So the last thing we have to install is the dry filter. So let's go ahead. Obviously the filter goes right here. Just goes just like that. So let's go ahead and hook the battery back up, and then we'll do a sound test, and let's go from there. All right guys, so that wraps up the install on the K&N Blackhawk cold air intake for the 2017 Camaro SS. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and put links to not only that intake, but all of the intakes that K&N offers down below. So if you're interested, make sure and click one of those links. Also, if you're bored on social media, make sure and look us up. The Wrenched Out Experiment or WOE EST 2016. The links for those are also listed below. So as we continue to build this, don't forget at the end of the video, there is a subscribe button. So smash that bad guy down. If you're interested in any of these Camaro parts or what we're doing with that, or with the V-Rod or any of the other projects we've got going, we appreciate it. So until next time, hey, thanks for checking us out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we've got a lot more coming. So until next time, take care.